Hello, Wired Souls! If you've been on thyroid medication for months, maybe years, and your labs keep coming back normal, but you still feel like your brain is wrapped in cotton, this one's for you. Here's something wild. Scientists scanned the brains of people with Hashimoto's, people whose thyroid labs looked totally normal, and they found real physical changes. Slower brain activity in the parts tied to focus, less blood flow to the front of the brain, the part that runs attention and concentration. Their labs said fine. Their brains said something else. So if you have Hashimoto's and ADHD, and you've ever felt like your brain fog couldn't possibly be just your thyroid, because your numbers keep coming back normal, you might be onto something. If you're new here, welcome to the chaos. This channel is where I dig into the overlap between ADHD and autoimmune disease. Brain fog, inflammation, hormone imbalances, all the ways your body and brain seem to be in on this together. Last video, we covered celiac disease. This is part 2 of that series. Today, it's Hashimoto's turn. So let's get into it. A Swedish study tracked over 86,000 people with ADHD. It looked at autoimmune conditions running in their families. Out of that group, about 18,000 people had a parent or sibling with an autoimmune condition. When researchers dug into it, ADHD showed a family connection to 14 different autoimmune diseases. Some were stronger than others. Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism showed up with about an 11% increase. Smaller than some of the other conditions on that list, but real enough that researchers don't write it off as a coincidence. A few other conditions on that same list scored even higher, lupus especially, but that's a story for a different episode. So why do these two things, Hashimoto's and ADHD, keep showing up together? Let's break it down, simply. Quick rundown before we go further, because these letters get thrown around a lot. TSH is the signal your brain sends to your thyroid, telling it to make more hormone. T4 is the main hormone your thyroid actually produces. T3 is the active form your body converts T4 into, and it's the one your cells actually use. Think of TSH as the request, T4 as the raw material, and T3 as the finished product your brain runs on. One more thing worth knowing. In hypothyroidism, including Hashimoto's, TSH usually runs high. That's your brain shouting louder because it isn't getting enough hormone back. T4 and FT3 usually run low in that same picture, since the thyroid isn't producing or supplying enough for the body to convert. Your thyroid makes T3. T3 does more than control your energy. It directly affects how your brain makes and uses dopamine and norepinephrine. Now here's the part that matters most. Dopamine and norepinephrine. Those are the exact two chemicals ADHD medication targets. Every stimulant, every non-stimulant, all of it works on those same two systems. So when Hashimoto's affects your thyroid and your thyroid hormone shifts, you're not just looking at energy changes. You're touching the same chemical systems that govern focus. Two different starting points, overlapping wiring, which is exactly why these two conditions can be so hard to tell apart, even for doctors. Now here's the part I think nobody explains. This might be the most important thing in this whole video. A lot of people with Hashimoto's take a medication called levothyroxine. It's a T4 medication, and their labs look fine. TSH normal, T4 normal, but they still feel foggy, flat, unfocused. Here's why this might be happening. Remember that brain scan finding from the start of this video? This is where it comes back in. Researchers looked at people with Hashimoto's whose thyroid levels were completely normal. Using real brain scans, not just questionnaires, they found slower brain activity and less blood flow to the focus and attention part of the brain. And here's the interesting part. It wasn't how sick someone's thyroid used to be that predicted this. It was just having the antibodies at all. which means this might not be a hormone problem. It might be the autoimmune attack itself, doing something to the brain that a TSH test was never built to catch. So your labs say you're fine, but your brain might still be dealing with something those labs can't see. This is not you imagining it. This is not just anxiety. It's a real, measurable difference. Researchers studying Hashimoto's brains with zero interest in ADHD kept finding ADHD-shaped symptoms anyway. Trouble focusing, slower thinking, memory slips. Nobody set out to find that. They just kept finding it. Okay, now I want to slow down and be careful here. Everything I just walked you through is a real, researched overlap, but I want to be precise about what that overlap actually means. Nobody has proven that Hashimoto's causes ADHD, or that ADHD causes Hashimoto's. What the research shows is that they share some of the same biological wiring, which is why the symptoms can blend together so easily. Having ADHD does not mean you have a thyroid problem. Having Hashimoto's does not mean your ADHD is secretly just your thyroid. These can be two separate conditions that genuinely overlap in symptoms and in some of the biology behind them. Not that one is hiding inside the other. So the smartest move here isn't to guess which one is really going on. It's to get checked for both and let the actual results tell you, instead of assuming one explains away the other. So, what do you actually do with this? First, if you have Hashimoto's and you're still foggy even with normal TSH, ask for a full panel. Ask specifically about free T3, not just free T4. A lot of people have never had free T3 checked, not once. Second, if you have ADHD and you're a woman and thyroid issues run in your family, get your thyroid antibodies checked at some point, not just TSH. Hashimoto's is far more common in women, and it gets missed for years because routine blood work doesn't always catch it. Third, if your thyroid dose has been stable, but your focus still isn't right, that's worth a real conversation about T3 specifically, not just adjusting your T4 dose again. And if all your labs come back good, including free T3, that might be the moment to look into an actual ADHD assessment instead. Fourth, track your patterns, same as always. Does your focus shift around flare-ups? Does it shift after a dose change? Write it down. That's real information. Here's what I want you to take from this. If you have Hashimoto's and ADHD, your brain fog is not just you being tired or not trying hard enough. There's a real overlap between your thyroid and the exact systems ADHD affects. That overlap is documented, even if the full picture of why isn't completely settled yet. Your labs can say normal, and your brain can still be running on empty. Both can be true at the same time. Hopefully, this helped explain something that's been frustrating you for a while. If you've got Hashimoto's and ADHD, or your labs keep saying fine while you still feel off, drop it in the comments. I want to know how many of us are stuck in that exact gap. Next up in this series, we're looking at lupus. This one's a little closer to home for me. It's actually the condition I live with myself, along with ADHD, so I have a feeling this episode is going to get personal. I'm going to go stare at my last lab results like they owe me an explanation. Like, subscribe, share this with someone who needs it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!